Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the YouTube channel grecochess, the channel where we discuss, we present, we analyze, and we talk about the aspects of the game of chess. And we're returning to facing the chess.com bot after a few videos with mostly my tournament games, especially the ones from the USATE Championship. It's time to face the next bot on the line. And let's see which it's going to be this time. Let me share the screen with you. And it's going to be Isabel from Costa Rica. Isabel has a rating of 1600. Until now, we've eliminated all 15 beginner bots in these ones quite easily. Had only wins, no draws or losses. Intermediate, where we had some issues. The advanced, where we start with the advanced, we had more issues. We eliminated the three 1500 rated bots, and then two of the three 1600 bots, and now it's time for the last 1600, Isabel. In this video, I'm playing with the white, and Isabel is playing with the black. Next time, it's going to be the other way around. And Isabel is starting by greeting us. Buenas, let's do this. Yes, Isabel, here we are. And as always, I start with my pawn to e4. Not the only first move, but the most popular and the one I'm mostly familiar. French defense. Never been to France, but I think I can play this, says Isabel. I'm also used to the French, so let me continue. Pawn to d4. 2 pawns in the center. Isabel plays the standard way. Don't look now, but I'm up to something. What can we do? Usually send my bishop to d3, but now let me try the advanced variation that the computer thinks is the best. Pawn to e5. Pawn to c5 for Isabel and my pawn to c3. Standard moves until now. Occupying the center, fighting for the d4 square. And queen goes to b6. What can we do? What is the threat? The threat is a pawn on d4, attacked twice, defended twice, so we're okay here. I don't want to move my bishop from c1 because then the pawn at b2 is lost and my rook at a1 is in danger. If I place my knight on f3, I block my f-pawn, so I'm going to move my pawn to f4. Knight goes to c6 and my knight will go to f3. Let me push my pawn to b3, the reason being now I'm free to move my bishop from c1. Can I move my bishop to d3? Here is the issue. The pawn on d4 is attacked 3 times by the queen and the knight and the pawn, and defended once to 3. If I go here to d3, it's defended only twice because the queen is blocked. But what would happen if all the exchanges took place? I think I could win the queen if Isabel falls for that. Let's see. I won at least a piece. Yep. Get that queen safe now. Should they directly take the queen? The knight is pinned. Let's take the knight so we don't have to worry if we have unpins. And yep, we won the queen. I like endgames anyway, especially endgames where you don't have a queen and I'm the only one with a queen. Should they check from e4? I don't want my queen to be under constraint because I'm winning now. I have extra material. And I'm going to explain later the trick I used to win this queen. Assuming, of course, I can win this game because no guarantees. Jacques, my name is not Jacques. What are you planning? I'm planning to change everything and with the extra material win the game if you just are curious. Yep. Ay, ay, ay. I should have checked from here, then I would have won the piece. But I'm so much ahead, they don't care about it too much. Let's castle. We go to b3, and now my queen is in the game without too much of a danger. Let's attack the rook once again with my knight. I don't want, because if my queen is attacked, let's defend my rook, actually my knight. Let's put my queen on a3 and attack the pawn on a7 and also check on d6 perhaps. No, I'm not taking a passant. I don't want to open lines for you. Let's take the pawn on a7 and also attack the rook on d4. Let's check from b6, see what happens. From d6 now. If the knight goes to 3, I'll force Isabel to either exchange rooks or... Yep, that's what I want, to exchange the rooks. Check from g5. What do I want to do? If queen goes to e7 and I lose a pawn, queen goes, check here. King goes to h6. And takes the pawn because the knight protects h3. The rook cannot have counterplay. Queen goes to e7. What happens if I win the bishop on c8. And now there is no stalemate, especially with the pawn on d5. Here check and I win the bishop on c8. Yep. If queen goes to h8, rook goes to h6. Yep. And then I win the pawn on g7. Does this guarantee win? Not checkmate yet, but we're very near. And even take the rook and I'm still winning, but I don't want to go for that. Let's pin the knight on g6. If I take it's not stalemate, king can go to h4, but I have to be very, very careful. Start getting worried a little bit too late, I would say. If I go check h7, rook will block it and then it's mate or not. Yes. And we defeated Isabel quite easily, and I'm going to explain to you exactly the trick that I used. Isabel didn't have to fall for that. And at the 1600 level, I doubt too many players would fall for that. Lower level, yes, if all you do is use some rules without thinking behind them. You build a lead in the opening, then play the tricky tactic. I'm going to explain it. Because just telling you that I had a tricky tactic without explaining is not going to help you too much. Isabel says, good game. I'm going to have to study that one. Want to play again? Let's study together. We will play again once in the next video when you'll have white and I'll have black. But let's look at this because we really need to see it very carefully and explain what happened, how Isabel ended up losing her queen. Overall, how did we do? 87.1% for me, 78% for Isabel. I played as if my rating was 2150. Flattering. Thanks for the flattery. Chess.com, but I don't need the flattery. And Isabel played as if her rating was 1200. I don't think it was that low. It's only Isabel fell for a nasty tactic that I'm going to explain. No brilliancies, grade 2 for me, 1 for Isabel. Books for each. Best 17 versus 10 for me. Excellent 14 versus 11 for Isabel. I had one good. Isabel had 3 inaccuracies. Mistakes 2 for me, 1 for Isabel. 1 miss each of us. And a nasty blunder for Isabel. I think it is the tactic that I used. Now I'm going to explain it. And if you play with players that are not of too high rating, you may try to use it occasionally. It may work. But let's start the review. Okay, until now it is book moves. There are going to be quite a lot of book moves. This is mistakes as a computer. What should I have played? Knight of 3. I'm going to explain why I didn't play it because I was thinking about it. The problem with that is that you're blocking the F pawn and you cannot attack. And in the French, many times you have to push the F pawn. And of course, the queen being on B6 cannot go to H4 and use this diagonal here to check you. That's why I preferred first F4 and then think about the knight. But the computer thinks a mistake and Isabel is ahead by, let's minimize screen, 0.54. Best move, and after 5 moves, Isabel is ahead by 0.54. I didn't feel Isabel was better. I was thinking of foreign theory. Knight to 3, my best move. H5 is a waste. Yes, there are cases when you can leave the king in the middle and start attacking the G and the H pawns, open these files, especially with my king in the middle. But here, there is no follow-up. Who is going to support this pawn? Pawn to B3. Mistake, second mistake for me. I played the advanced variations, I don't know it. So 2 mistakes until now, and Isabel is ahead by 1.10. Wow. I didn't realize I was so bad during the game. Miss. Takes a pawn on d4 is a computer, but still, it was adequately defended for now. Bishop to d3. What was the only move? Computer wants me to take the pawn, but then queen takes it back. I'm not winning anything. Pawn to d4, great move, says the computer. I take back my best. And now you're going to see the blunder. Why did Isabel do it and why the blunder? Isabel did it because she was counting 1, 2 attackers, 1 defended, and with 2 versus 1, Isabel would win the pawn. That was Isabel's thought. However, what's happening is that once everything is said and done, my bishop on d3 is free to go and check on b5. Isabel, if you want to start this tactic, because in my games I have used it, but first you move your bishop to d7, so after everything is said and done, the bishop to b5 is not a check. That is why you need to learn not just blindly following rules, but the ideas behind them and how to use the rules in your advantage, and not do Isabel's mistake. So Isabel is going to take on d4, and this is a blunder from Isabel being ahead by 0.76, now ahead by 2.49. And the mistake will become even worse because now I take it, great, I'm still 2.49. And then Isabel would do a worse mistake than the previous. They say in chess, it's not the first mistake that dooms you, but the next second mistake. Because Isabel should rather swallow her pride, be a pawn down, a piece down for a pawn, and definitely not play that. For example, place a knight on c6, because now you are now able to win a queen through a discovered attack. Now ahead by 5.05. And of course, I saw it when they have only one chance to do it, because if I don't do it, queen attacks rook on a1. It's now or never. Bishop to b5, great. Great, I had seen these 3 moves ahead of time. That's why I allowed Isabel to take my pawn, and I was hoping she would take my pawn on d4. Here, I can safely take the queen because the knight on c6 is pinned. I cannot take it back. But what if Isabel can find a combination that the knight suddenly becomes unpinned and takes my queen? I don't want to take any chances, so I immediately take the knight. Computer would rather have me immediately take the queen because of the knight being pinned, but I don't want to take chances because what if there's a combination? Okay, of course, Isabel places a bishop on d7. I'm going to take the knight, but what if there's something else that I never even suspected? When you're ahead, don't take chances. Exchange, exchange, exchange. If there was only one good move and you found it, well, yes, I get flooded 5 moves ahead of time. Your opponent's attacking piece is gone, not just any attacking piece, the queen. From now on, things will be smooth sailing. Queen to d1, computer wants me to d3 so I can check perhaps. From now on, I'm just going to play smoothly. Yes, exchange bishop. Yes, I missed a chance. And I saw it after the move because if my queen checked here, the next move, bishop takes bishop. But still there is a catch. What if Isabel replies with a bishop to d7? My queen cannot take on b4, the rook will take my queen. My bishop cannot take on b4, the bishop will take my queen. So perhaps it's better I didn't do it. All I would have is queen to a7. But computer would rather have my queen go to a4. And maybe perhaps take the pawn on a7. But I played safe. Yes, the bishop can take my bishop, the knight can take back, but why take chances? Um, and now I'm castling to have my king even safer. I'm playing safe move, not the move that the computer thinks the best. What's the difference? The computer plays the best moves because the computer is going to continue playing the best moves if the computer was playing at for me. But me being human, I might make mistakes. So I'm playing moves that are safe, meaning minimize the chances I may be wrong later. And especially since I'm ahead, I don't need to play my best game necessarily. All I need to do is play safe moves that will keep me the advantage, even if minimized along the way. Yes, my queen is developed. Look, computer wants me to give a check, but if I give a check, let's see what's going to happen. And bishop replies, I have simultaneously my queen under attack and my knight under attack. Of course, there are ways to save both. For example, if my queen goes to a5, or I can even check from b8 and win the rook for a knight. But this starts complications. And what if there is a mistake in the calculations? Don't take chances. Play the safest way. Yes, go to a3, attack the pawn a7, and check on d6. I'm not going to use a pass. I have one. It's now or never. Take from e5 to f6. But by doing so, I open the lines, and the two rooks on d4 and h8 might have a counterplay. So let's keep the center locked. That's why queen goes to a7. Best moves as a computer. I could have safely taken the pawn on g7, but that's not the computer wants. Computer wants my knight to go to f3 to start exchange of rooks. I'm playing excellent, not the best moves. Now I'm going for the exchange. Yep. My advantage is even bigger. Pawn to g5 check. One needs to be careful about the pawn on h3. Can it promote? It's 2 squares away from promotion. Not so easy because I have 2 pawns and my king to block it. And also, worst comes to worst, my knight from g5 can take the pawn on h3. I took it with my pawn. I'm not sure if it's the best. Now let's see. We're starting with the mates. A mate in 6 moves is a computer. Did I need 6 moves? Let's give a look. I needed 8 moves. 7. In 11 now I don't even have a mating, but at least I won the bishop. 5 moves. 4 moves. 3 moves. 2 moves. 1. and 0. And that was it. That's how we defeated Isabel with the white pieces. One idea for the viewers to remember is many times you can start a series of exchanges that may look like it'll cost your pawn because your pawn has less defenders, fewer defenders than attackers, but in the end of the combination, you can have a discover check, and especially if the opponent wants your pawn with their queen the last move, a discover check might give you the queen. But be careful, the queen needs to be undefended, because if the queen was defended with another piece, then my combination would not work. I took a chance, meaning I tried what's it called, a swindle, but where there is nothing to lose, basically. If my opponent didn't fall for that, there would still be games, not one that if it works, great. If it doesn't work, you lose. You give me the win against Isabel. Let's go back to the boards. Isabel will beat with the white pieces. The next video will be Isabel with the black pieces. But let's also return to the tournaments. How are we doing in my tournaments? The tournaments I'm following. The new one I'm organizing, the grecochess 64. We have 5 players registered. Until now, we need 64 to start. Let's see if and when this is going to happen. The moment we have 64 players, it starts. Other tournaments we are following. The annual 2026 to chess.com Daily Chess Championship, where I made it the second round, and we have 43 games remaining for the end of the first round. Let's see whom am I going to face. And the other one with my Italian subscriber. Underwater Moonlight, the Nine Moons Tournament. We are already in the semi-final round. Out of the 81 players, 12 continue. Let's see how things are going. Group number 1, the first 3 make it from every one of the 2 groups. We have Möbius from Nigeria leading with 4.5, Chinan Fu from Greenland 4, and Vien Carvanans from Malaysia 3.5. Group 2, Maxim Kovoruka, who was also the second rate, meaning ended up second in my Greco chess tournament, is leading with 5 points versus 3. He's from the Ukraine versus 3 from AMMT from Indonesia and 2 from Mathis B 2008 from France. But that's all for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the viewers, to the subscribers, the likes, the comments. Next one, we'll continue the bots, face the same bot now, but now I have the black pieces. With the white, it seemed simple because of an idea that I knew and I applied. Let's see if the win with the black will be equally easy. This is the Greco Chess channel. I'm Harry Lauseneziris. For now, goodbye.